visit visa. If you are on TR and your TR is going to expire, what are the alternative pathways? So we'll be able to answer all your questions in today's live session. So this is the purpose of today's live session. So we can start taking your questions now. You can start typing your questions. And meanwhile, we'll start with the state nomination. And let's start with Western Australia, because Western Australia, they have conducted an invitation round yesterday itself. And clients, they have so many questions. Why we haven't got the invitation? Why my friend got the invitation and haven't got the invitation? So let's start discussing all about Western Australia.
So yes, so Western Australia, as you know, we in the beginning, Neet, we all knew that there are a number of seats in Western Australia.
Yeah.
But now people, they're not getting invite from Western Australia. They're
Yes.
like so frustrated.
I
They're getting so
understand.
many questions. What did happen in the last invite, Neet? What
Sure,
was the
sure.
overview of it?
Exactly. So yesterday, when they conducted the invitation round, they invited 800 people altogether. So 400 for 190 and 400 for 491. But when you look at the cutoff, right, minimum cutoff that they have invited, if you look at graduate stream of Western Australia, the cutoff has gone down. Like if at 75 points, cooks got invited, chefs got invited at 80 points. Like if they are at, let's say, 65 plus 15, 80 points, they got invited, but that's for graduate stream. It is not for Schedule 2 stream. So you know that in Western Australia, we have 3 streams. We have Schedule 1, Schedule 2, and we have graduate stream. In Schedule 1 as well, people got invitation at lower points. Schedule 2, if we look at Schedule 2, because many of the clients, they are actually falling under Schedule 2.
Exactly,
Like all interstate, all offshore, they're in Schedule 2. And in Schedule 2, they have invited people at very, very high cutoff points. So, and the EOIs, they were low, like, they were lodged earlier. So let's say if somebody has lodged EOI in October this year, and another person has lodged EOI in November last year, definitely that person got invited before this if they have the same number of points.
Exactly.
So this is the reason. I think we again have some technical glitch today.
Yeah, we'll just have a look.
Yes.
Yeah,
and-
maybe, we'll just have a look. Maybe we have some problem with this one.
Mhm.
Okay, so in the meanwhile, like, we're just fixing everything, and thank you so much, guys. You waited for us, as we've posted that we'll be live at 4, and your patience has come to an end. So
Yep.
yes, Neet. So as we were discussing about that, so Neet, do you mean by this that if somebody has lodged, EOI earlier and someone has lodged it recently, if the earlier one is having higher points, then only he will get invited?
Yes. So look at their criteria. What they are looking at, they're looking at higher points, and then they are looking at earlier lodged EOIs. First priority is to anyone who is in Western Australia. So resident of Western Australia, they got the first priority. Secondly, if they have higher points, and third priority has been given to if their EOIs were lodged before, right? So in that case, they will always be looking at if somebody from interstate having same number of points and somebody from Western Australia having lesser points, point will be invited just because interstate and Western Australia. So this is what their priority is.
Yes.
Right?
So, Neet, do you think in Western Australia as well, is like the salary or, our package, do these things matter?
No, not for Western Australia. Western Australia is a state that's not considering right now higher salary, partner skill points, or years of work experience, what other states are doing. And looking at Queensland, looking at Victoria, they have these considerations. But Western Australia, definitely, they don't have this kind of consideration when it comes to invitations.
Yes, exactly. So, guys, yes, this was all about, an overview about Western Australia's round. Because, like, we were getting some of the other questions from the clients, maybe some misconceptions or something like that.
Exactly.
That who got invited, why he got invited with these many points. So, yes, Neet was there always to, clarify our queries.
Yep.
And Neet, along with that, the other questions which we are getting, regular calls in our office, that's regarding New South Wales. So can you tell our, clients regarding New South Wales as well?
Sure. So with New South Wales, what's happening, guys? New South Wales, they have already declared and announced their eligibility criteria. What is their eligibility criteria for 190 and 491? And also they have conducted first invitation round for 190. That was like the day they announced the criteria, that day itself, they have invited people. They have invited electrician, they have invited welders, they have invited business analysts, but very high points. But electricians at 70 points, they got invited. But you need to understand at this point, occupation, skill occupation lists, they have already declared that there are top 5 occupation which are going to be in shortage in Australia, and those are the 5 occupation. They will be getting now invitations, they will be getting 482 very quickly. This is how you always need to look at the data, look at the statistics. So top 5 occupation, in that we have primary school teachers, we have secondary school teachers, truck drivers are there, electricians are there. So these are the occupation they are going to get invite now as quickly as possible. And also for 482, their processing time would be pretty high, pretty quick.
Yeah, exactly. And Neeta, as you know, these days we are just looking at, no doubt I am one of the part of Visa Empire, but still, if I just look at Visa Empire's page, so you know, truck drivers, they are just getting the permanent residencies and everything.
Yes.
I feel like, Neet, you have changed the outlook of truck drivers for Australia, because if I just consider a couple of months ago, there was nothing for truck drivers. I mean, like, truck driving was considered just a profession to earn money, and that's it, nothing for them. But you have shown how they can get PR.
Like we got recently many DAMA approvals for transport companies, and we got like many truck drivers. They got their 482 nomination approval. They got their visas granted under 482, whereas they were like secondary applicants. You know, like primary applicant was studying, they were spending money on their studies. They have done PT. They were at higher points, were not getting the invite, and now the secondary applicant, they stepped in, and they got the not invitation, nomination approval for 482. So that was like total changeover, I would say, from skilled visas to employer sponsored visa. And yes, we can proudly say that Visa Empire has done it over and again, like how we always do it. Yes, so we are quite proud of that. Like at least we could find some pathways for our audience, for our clients. Yes.
Yeah, definitely. And you know, nowadays when I just look at the people, those who never thought that, you know, being a truck driver, how I'll do that, and they are getting 42. That's like, you did a great job for that, Neet.
Okay. We all did it. Like as a team, we did it. Yes, I would say Visa Empire team did it.
Yeah, definitely. And Neet, let's come to some of the questions as well that we're getting on TikTok.
Sure.
So I do have a question here from Prabin. So he's saying that if I take my cookery certificate through RPL,
Yes,
and skills assessment done, I, as a chef, can apply for 186 direct entry?
Yes, he can apply, but only thing he needs to remember that after RPL work experience, right? These all things he needs to discuss. It is a specific question. He can always like book a consultation with us. We can look at his years of work experience, but with RPL, definitely it's possible with skill assessment.
Yes. And Neet, there is another question from Noor. He's asking what kind of truck drivers can get this.
So when it comes to truck driver, generally the transport companies, what they look for, the person who is going to sponsor you, you know, the business owner, the transport company owner, what he's looking at people who can drive interstate or stuff like that, those who are holding MC license, that is what it is called, I guess, HR, and then shift to MC. So this is what they are looking at. They are looking at skilled truck drivers, not like a naive person who does not know how to drive a truck. That person will not be getting easy sponsorship. So you need to understand what a business owner will be looking at the benefit of their business, whether you can drive a truck or not.
Yeah, definitely. So more, if you have more questions, like you are a truck driver or something, please do send your questions. We are already there to help you out. And along with that, Neet, I'll come to another question. So this is from Mandeep Kaur. So she's just saying that she has 70 own points for chef, EOI lodged in this May, residing in Western Australia, 85 points for 491.
For 491, 85 points. But if you are not a graduate of Western Australia, then you may have to wait. See, if you look at Western Australia, they have conducted, this was their third round, right? From first round to third round, definitely points cut off. It has gone down.
Yeah.
So in the next rounds, we can expect they will low down their expectations in terms of invitation points.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if your visa is expiring, you cannot just rely on the invitation rounds. You need to have a backup.
Exactly.
So remember that.
And Need, do you believe, like, what other options? Let's say if they are not having the option of 482, the employer
Yeah.
is not ready for 482. What should they ask from their employer? If not 482, how can he
Okay.
help them?
Yeah, definitely. So if a client right now, he or she is on 485 visa,
Yeah.
you know that from 485 going back to student is not possible.
Exactly.
Onshore.
Yeah.
Again, I would say onshore,
Onshore.
right?
Yes.
So with offshore, definitely there are options. You can always discuss those options with us. But onshore, then you have to look into training visa. If employer is not happy to pay you like 73,150, the pay package which is required for 482, if they are happy to help you for training visa, but then again a structured training plan is required. You need a structured training plan, and you need to know that what sort of training they can offer you,
Yeah.
that can help you achieving that 407. Lodging a 407 is not a problem. Any
Exactly.
business can lodge it, right? And any
Definitely.
migration agent can lodge it. It's all about the success of your application. But success of your application, it all depends upon the structured training plan. And again, we are proud to say that Visa Empire has got many success
Yes.
stories for 407. You can look at our page. If you need any help for that, always you can contact us.
Definitely. So, this was all about the question asked by you. And coming to the next one. So, there's another one, Neat, the guy who asked for, the what type of truck drivers. He's
Yes.
posted another question. I'm currently a student and want to take courses like construction design as well within my study time. So, Neat, do you think we should suggest them still that they should take civil construction maybe as their course?
They can, like, look at the Western Australia recent invitation round, and graduates of Western Australia. If I just like very quickly look into that file, civil engineering draft person, if you were graduate of Western Australia, if you have completed your civil engineering draft person from Western Australia, at 75 points per a person got invited.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
For civil engineering draft person, so it is still in trend. And if we look at recent round of 189 on 6th of September,
Yeah.
at 75 points, civil engineering draft person got invited.
Yes.
For 189. Again, guys, definitely department is looking at construction occupation, and civil engineering draft person is one. The only change right now is like you cannot get the skills assessment just on behalf of studies. Exactly. Australian studies. Yeah. You need to have a CDR pathway for skills assessment. So that's the only change now.
Definitely. And Neat, again, it's like I know we have a number of chefs, those who are like, waiting
Yes,
for their
yes,
invite.
yes.
So there is just Meet Kaur. She's asking like chef chances in Queensland with 80 points for 491.
Chef chances in Queensland, it's not dependent upon the points. It's all upon those four criteria. Even if you are at 90 points and we got chef invited at 75 points,
Yeah.
and we have chefs at 90 points, they are not looking at the points. What they are looking at, they are looking at either your superior English. Let's say you have got superior English, even if you don't have higher points. How now somebody will ask me how it's possible. It is possible. You are a single, you got 10 points from that single.
Yeah.
Another person is married and not getting any point for being married, 0 point, but got superior English, 20
Yeah.
points from there. Even though that person's overall points are lesser than yours,
Yeah.
but still that person is going to get invited because of that superior English. Exactly. 8 each.
Yeah.
Another factor is salary in Queensland. So if you got higher salary, like 80 grand package you are on, you will get invited compared to the person who is having higher points but lower salary. So these are the few things that you need to keep in mind.
Exactly. Okay, we're getting some of the questions from Raj. Maybe you can contact the office for such type of questions, please. And then okay, there's another question, Neet, from Shankar. So
Yes.
Shankar is asking, what about the joiner? Can joiner apply for PR, and can you tell how much experience needed?
Okay, so joiners, they have a permanent residency pathway through skilled visa. They have permanent residency pathway through employer sponsored visa. For employer sponsored visa, if you do not have any qualification, just 3 years of experience, can apply for employer sponsored visa. But for skill occupation, you need to have skills assessment, you need to have English at least competent. Yeah. And point system, it is all based on point system.
Yep, exactly. And Neither I have like seen in these times, like earlier nursing used to be one of such a profession.
I
nursing
know
done
it was
PR.
like it was like 65 points. RN, got skills assessment after qualification, and you were getting invited.
Exactly.
But right now, the shift is like towards construction.
Exactly.
You can see that, like, it's a
Yeah.
total shift from healthcare to construction. And
Yeah.
looking at that last week's list of top 5 occupation, now I think truck drivers, electrician, primary school teachers, secondary school teacher, they are going
Exactly.
to they are going to be like winner.
And Aneet, what would you give a suggestion to the nurses? What should they do in this case for their
I would
points?
say they should improve on their points,
Yeah.
because 189 still nurses are getting invited, but they have very high cutoff. So 85 points nurses. So if you are sitting right now at 70 points, improve on your English, get 8 each, get your nati sorted. If your partner is there, encourage your partner to get 6 each. Ask your partner to get a skills assessment if possible.
Yeah.
So these are the things that you can do right now if you're sitting at lower points and a nurse.
Yes, exactly. So nurses, you have to get more points now. And Neet, there's another one. It says, I'm in South Australia, 1 year experience in ICT with 7 each and skilled partner 7 each. What would be my chances?
Western South Australia. South
yeah.
Australia has become recently very I would say strict in giving out the invitation.
Yeah.
Many people, they haven't got the invitation, and they are getting those letters from South Australia, not invited,
Oh,
not
yeah.
invited, even if they are meeting the criteria. South Australia used to be a state where, like, if you're meeting the criteria, you will definitely get invitation.
Yeah.
Recently, it has changed. I would say if your visa is expiring soon, you may get the invitation, but otherwise, no one can comment on South Australia looking at their unpredictability in this financial year.
Exactly. And then, Neet, just like I'll take one more question from here, and then we will, have more discussions about
Sure,
it.
sure.
And okay, so civil engineering technician, New South Wales, working in own occupation, points for 190 and 7. Okay, so he hasn't mentioned points. So it says, like, I think it's 75 points for 190 and 85 for 491. So it's
what are
like
the chances?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so New South Wales, now for 190, they have a skills list. If your occupation is in skills list, you can get invited, and construction is one of their priority.
Exactly.
So can get invited considering that. Otherwise, pathway one, very high chances of invitation.
That's really good. So what I've seen, like, in the recent, the lives that we are having, people, they are more so mentioning their points, and they're asking, what are my chances, what are my chances. I would actually recommend you guys, instead of asking your chances for these things, it's good you are asking it, but then you should ask for more options as well for
Exactly,
yourself, right?
exactly. And with the chances, you will get to know, just because every time any state is conducting invitation round, we are posting the data.
Exactly.
Either migration agents or even we just like simply post the screenshot of that particular state. Like today also we posted about Western Australia, at how many points you are getting the invite. So you can always look at those statistics. Guys, saying chances at this point with so much of unpredictability around, it's not easy for us to comment.
Yeah.
I would say better, like, we look into the option. If your visas are expiring, start asking us, okay, what are the alternative options, like how to save your visa, how to be lawful here in Australia. Start asking those questions.
After 485, what recommendation would you like to give our clients? What they should do if their 485 is expiring very soon?
Sure. So if their 485 is expiring, they should start looking at, and they think like, okay, invitation, it's not possible.
Yeah.
Looking at their points, and some of them, they are just sitting at like very low points, 50 points at 491, and they're still hoping an invite. In this competitive era, I would say don't just start hoping. Don't just look into invitation with 50 points, 50 plus 15.
Yeah.
What you should be looking at, you should be start looking at exploring your options for employer sponsored visa, whether it's 407, 482, 186, right?
Yeah.
Look at those options. And also, if there is no option, you don't have any experience, no employer is ready to sponsor you, you can consider offshore student visa. But for that, again, take advice from a registered migration agent, or talk to somebody. Not somebody, you cannot take advice from anybody else.
Yeah.
Definitely talk to your registered migration agent, or talk to us here at Visa Empire. We can help finding and navigating your options here in Australia.
Yes. And Neeta, I'm just looking at these days scenario. I think 482 and 186, they're just becoming like the future of Australia.
Exactly. For
Yeah.
now, like at least for 1 or 2 years, definitely it's gonna be the future. and the skilled visas right now, it's very competitive. If you have high points, you can have hopes from skilled visa. But again, some states, they are not considering points, just like Queensland, not considering points. Queensland is looking at other four criteria. If you look at into those four criteria, work on those four criteria, then in Queensland it may be possible, but just 600 seats.
Definitely. And okay, again, we're just getting the questions like, the chances. So, I'll just start thinking from their point of view, and I'll ask another question from you, Neet. So, Neet, let's say if, I'm on a 485 visa and I haven't got my skills assessment, because, TRA, it's like delaying the applications a lot.
Yes.
So, if I haven't got my skills assessment positive, but my employer is ready to sponsor me for 482, so still can I go for 482?
Yes. Okay. Now, looking at skills assessment requirements for 482, many of us, we are in this picture that 482 means you need a mandatory skills assessment. No, for 482, only 25 occupation, they need mandatory skills assessment. But on top, there are exceptions, right? Even for those 25 occupation like chef, motor mechanic, cook, they need a mandatory skills assessment. But then there are exceptions. If you have done like Australian study, if you have completed Australian study, 2 years of Australian study, you may not need skills assessment for 482. So these are few things you need to keep in mind. Like if you are, considering 482, even if your job ready program is not yet completed, you may still be eligible for 482. All you need is like an expert advice. Just don't, start looking at random videos from unethical sources. Like this is what I've seen, like recently people shared those videos with us and say, okay, this person is saying this, and is it true? Like, how can you believe somebody who is not having, any authenticity, and you just like start sharing even those kind of stuff with us? Like,
True.
This is somebody is saying, you don't trust your migration agent, and you are like looking at that kind of random stuff. Don't look into that kind of stuff. Talk to a registered migration agent again and again, I'm saying, or talk to us like at Visa Empire.
Definitely. And Neet, okay, and there's another thing. They've got skills assessment, no PT, can't score PT. So how about 482?
482, again, 482, very less requirement is there, low requirement is there for English. Only you need 5 overall and 4.5 each for most of the occupation, and some of the occupation you need 5 each. Let's say if it's a short term, if it's a medium term, right, occupation. So in that case, I think that's like a piece of cake for like anyone who has been studying in Australia to get 36 each. It's like a piece of cake.
Exactly. And then Neet, I think we should just, look at some of the questions again from people.
Sure.
So coming to a question from Bikram. So Bikram is asking, chance for civil technician 190, 70 plus 5 points, regional New South Wales, same field in council, 2 years, 70K salary.
Okay, 70K salary. So pathway 1, definitely you're not eligible. For pathway 1, they have given concession. Now guys, okay, 73,150 is the TESMIT. Then they have given you concession. If you are even earning 90% of the TESMIT, means 73,150 minus 7,315. If you are still earning this much, you can be eligible. But for TESMIT concession, they have given the list of occupation. I can just check right away if he falls under, TESMIT concession, because many people, they are, or else, since this is a specific question, I would say like they should ask us, like they can just book their one-to-one consultation and ask our migration agents like whether he is eligible for TESMIT concession or not. TESMIT concession is not eligible for all the occupation. There is a list of occupation where you can earn 90% of the TESMIT and still be eligible for pathway 1. Then the chances are very high if you are eligible for pathway 1. 100% success rate would be there if you are meeting pathway 1. But like for pathway 2, applying directly to RDA, we cannot comment.
Yeah, exactly. So guys, if you have certain specific questions, and then if you feel like, the migration agents should focus just on your question and give you all of the possible options, always book a consultation. We are always there to help you out, and then that particular time period would be all yours, and she will be there to answer all your questions. So book consultation with us, guys. And then Neet, there is another question from Raju Tripathi. So he's asking, hi, what is the skills assessment required for DAMA 186 as an accounts clerk?
Okay, as an account clerk, so every Dharma you need to understand. For Dharma, it's not like each Dharma they will have a same skills assessment requirement. Every Dharma they have a specific guideline, and you have to follow that specific guideline. Most of the Dharmas for skills assessment, the requirement for 482 is 1 year of work experience full time as in your nominated occupation. For 491, 2 years of work experience in your nominated occupation. But again, it's a specific question. I would say he should consult somebody rather than just like just looking at random information and collecting information from here and there. If he is serious, like if you are a serious client, you should actually consult somebody and look for a particular advice, that particular advice which dharma you want to go for, like whether that dharma is having any kind of exemption. So these are the things that we discussed during consultations.
Exactly. See, guys, every individual, they are just having their own qualification, their own, a story and everything. So if like she's advising something over here, maybe your case is slightly different from that. Book a consultation and then you will get more information specified to your case.
Exactly. We are here. See, we always try to give you all journal information, whatever we can provide you. As I said, like for Dharma, 1 year, 2 year experience for 494. But again, I don't know which Dharma you are going to apply for. And I need to look into that because it's not on top of my head for every Dharma. What are the requirements for every occupation? There are hundreds of occupation in each Dharma.
Yes.
And for each occupation, there are specific requirements. So we don't want to give you any false information here in this live session. So the better, I think, the better is like just to book a consultation, not with us. We are not saying book a consultation with us. Book a consultation with any registered migration agent who can solve your query. You are confident that person can solve your queries.
Exactly. And Neet, like Sunny is asking that his age is 46 years. Can he apply for Dharma? Like, what's the age for Dharma?
Okay, for Dharma again, like every occupation, they have age limits. Some of the occupation they have given you age concession for up to 50 years, and for some occupation, the age concession is up to 55 years.
Yeah.
Up to 50, every Dharma has the concession for every occupation, but for 55, there are few occupation where up to 55 you have a concession. So again, Sunny, I would say you should like consult a registered migration agent about your particular scenario.
Yeah. And Neet, chefs are very disappointed actually.
I know, I can understand. Like, and we see the frustration every day on everyday basis. Like, chefs are how disappointed the chefs are. Right now, I would say, guys, if your visa is expiring, especially those December expiry
Exactly.
get an employer sponsored visa sponsorship somehow. Like talk to your employer where you have been working. They may be able to help you either with 407, 482.
Definitely. I think because of this frustration only, Rahul is asking, ma'am, will chef be removed from all the lists? Like removed from anyone? I'm not able to get that. And then there will be nothing for chef in future.
It doesn't look like, see, chefs, even if you look at statistics, they have always been saying like we have enough chefs, but then uh, hospitality industry has been suffering a lot with skilled labor and skilled chefs. So in that case, I personally, again, it's my personal opinion, I don't think so chef or cooks or cafe restaurant manager will ever be removed from any list.
Yes, definitely. And then this is a kind of neat question that, the students, those who are coming these days to take admission in certain courses, specifically in commercial cookery, and they be like, should we take admission? Should we don't take admission? What would be the future? At this point of time, they're removing. So do you think like maybe in the coming time, again, the demand of chefs can increase?
It can. See, it's always on and off. You cannot just predict like from one particular, cohort, like, and one particular year that, okay, chefs are going to be removed. And especially election agendas are there. They are doing like so many propagandas at this point. Just because federal elections are there. There are a few things they are doing right now. They are doing to just like to make sure that they are not promoting migration, and this is one of their strategies. Let's see after May how we go.
We go. Yes, exactly.
But in meanwhile, if your visa is expiring, you should start looking at options. Don't just like sit and relax. It's not time to relax for chefs, for sure.
Yeah. And Neet, we will consider some of the questions from Facebook as well.
Sure.
So there's a question saying chances for 190, 80 points with state motor mechanic and outer regional area of South Australia.
Okay.
And visa expiring in 2026.
2026. South Australia may not consider 2026 expiry. 2025 May, up to May or
Yeah.
March, I can still say that. But with 2026, I'm a bit skeptical to say whether you will get an invite. But yes, outer regional stream, that's another thing. You have an advantage that you are living in outer regional stream and you are falling in outer regional stream. So they have a specific quota for outer regional stream. You may be lucky then in that case.
Yes. And okay, Nita, I've got a very interesting question.
Yeah.
So we are being asked that can 407 visa be converted to student visa?
Yes, definitely. Why not? Like 407, that's a training visa, right? So you have been taking some sort of training. And if you now, what people do, like this is what, even if you look at the strategy, how a person should be studying.
Yeah.
Education strategy. So they should be studying something and then they should be taking some work on experience, like hand-on experience. Then they should be studying again to understand some concept and then taking some work experience.
Yeah.
So looking at that, if you have a training visa, you can always get converted into student visa. Again, it should be towards the progression of your study.
Yes.
Whatever you have studied to, it should not be like you're downgrading the study. Whatever you work experience you have gained, it should be towards that. Relevancy is something, it's of utmost importance.
Exactly. So yeah, that was a very good question. And followed by that, I've got another one, Neat.
Yes.
So it says, guide Australians on skill select visa with points or where to. Okay, we have already discussed this thing.
Okay.
Let's move on to the next one. Yes, Mohammed, if you want to discuss about the cost of 407, you can call our office. So our accounts team would definitely help you regarding that. So coming
And
to
also guys, on our website there is like initial assessment, free initial assessment. If you go to our website www.visaempire.com.au, there is a free initial assessment. One of our consultant will be able to help you. If you fill out that form and submit it, they will give you an allocated time, and in that time period they'll call you, discuss your options.
yeah, so you can just give us a call and we will help you out.
And that's there even in our TikTok bio. If they go to TikTok bio, they will find that initial free free eligibility assessment.
Definitely. And Neet, there's another very interesting question coming in. So can a person, let's say someone gets invited for 491, if they've lost 491,
Yeah.
can they go back? I mean, like not go back, go forward for 189 and 190, something like that?
Okay, yes, that is something like I really want to discuss this. I'm glad that the person asked this question.
Yeah.
From 491, during the processing of 491, you can get invitation of 189, you can get invitation of 190, and you can accept it and lodge that visa, withdraw your 491. That is definitely something you can do and secure your permanent residency quicker. But once your 491 is granted, then you have to wait for 3 years. There is no other way going back, like, okay, I got 491, now I can apply somehow 190 and 189 upon invitation. You cannot do that. Once 491 is granted, you have to stay on 491 for 3 years. But with 482, there's nothing as such that's stopping you to apply 190 or 190 or 189 or even 491. Once you got your 482 visa granted, if you got the invitation for 190, 189, 491, you can always accept that, apply that, wait for that invitation, wait for that visa to be granted. Once that visa is granted, your 482 will be superseded. So this is how it works.
Exactly. And then Neet, just another one.
Yes.
So Jasmeet is asking how much time SBS and nomination for 42 as a chef will take as her visa is expiring in July.
Okay. For nomination, 28 days of LMT advertisement is mandatory for most of the cases. In that case, you have to wait anyways for 28 days for the nomination to lodge. SPS and nomination can be lodged together, but for nomination, that 28 days advertisement is must. And you need not to wait for the nomination to be approved to lodge your visa. You can lodge your visa on top and be on bridging visa and wait for everything, like every three application, all three applications result all together. Yeah.
And Neet, is it the case in case of like 407 as well? Like how much time would it take for 407?
Yes. For 407, again, it's a 3-step process. You have TS, temporary activity sponsorship, you have a nomination application, and you have a visa application. But all 3 steps can be done together.
Oh,
Yeah,
Wow,
can
that's
be
great.
done together, like one after another, like in
Yeah.
3 hours we can launch all three. But again, you need not to wait for
Yeah.
everything to be approved, but yes, we need to check whether you're meeting the eligibility, so that if your sponsorship is not getting approved, it's going to impact your nomination and visa application.
Yeah.
So again, it needs to be, these are some technical things, guys. I'm not supposed to discuss these in this general information session.
Exactly.
But since you asked, I'm just letting you know, like, this is how it can be done. You need not to worry if your visa is expiring at last moment. Also, if your employer is getting ready, come and talk to us. We are very quick at processing everything together.
Yes. And then Neat, if someone has got, like, let's say 491 granted, can they add their partner in their 491?
Yes, definitely. For 491, let's say you have got granted your 491 visa, your partner is onshore on some kind of visa. You can always apply 491 subsequent entrant for them. They'll get a bridging visa. They can be added into your visa. Yes, it's possible.
Yes, definitely. That's really great. And then, Neet, I'll just okay. So there was a question that we discussed, a couple of minutes ago regarding the New South Wales, like who was working for 2 years in the
Yes,
70K.
yes, yes.
So basically, he's asking that he's focusing on 190 actually. So
Okay, for
yeah,
190, if your occupation, because I don't have everything on top of my head, if your occupation is in the skills list published by New South Wales, the chances are good, especially your occupation is something that's in their priority. In that case, you will get invited.
yes. Okay, I hope you got the answer this time. And along with that, Neet, let's discuss like more about 186. So, Neet,
Sure.
what do you think? Like, if I have worked on my student visa, let's say, and then can I claim that experience for my 186?
Definitely, definitely.
Okay.
So for 186, what are the requirements? 186 is of two types. One is TRT, which is after 482, after like being on 482 for 2 years and then applying 186 TRT. Whereas 186 DE is direct entry, and you can apply direct entry anytime you have 3 years of full-time experience and your occupation is in medium to long-term skill occupation list. So in that case, even if you've been working on student visa part-time, we can claim that part-time experience towards that full-time on a pro rata basis. So you can always claim that. Guys, my advice to you is, what I've seen recently, those who have done bachelor from overseas, they come here, they start studying master, they have some sort of experience back home. They never try to talk to a migration agent about their pathway. And here at Visa Empire, we have helped many people, those who were on student visa, they got their skills assessment, got invited, sorted their permanent residency, even on a student visa. So if you are recently, like you have recently arrived here in Australia on a student visa, you have some sort of experience back home, always utilize that to get a skills assessment. Try to find work where you can get skills assessment, even on a student visa, 20 hours per week. All VEDSS occupation, the work requirement for skills assessment is 20 hours per week for 1 year. So use your overseas qualification to gain some sort of experience here in Australia, or use your overseas experience towards that skills assessment.
Exactly. That's how it goes, guys. So definitely, as per this, guys, if you have completed any of the bachelors offshore and you want to know that can my bachelors also become eligible, and maybe you start working in your bachelor's field and you get your skills assessment and everything done, and they can get invited.
Definitely.
And they don't need to complete, spend so much money on the masters here.
Exactly.
Yeah. And then, Neet, there's a question now. I'll just ask from you. That's New South Wales, 100 points, 3 years experience, and they're saying network and system engineer.
Yes.
What are the chances in this financial year? New South Wales, 100 points.
Looks very good. If your occupation is in the skills list, again, I would say look at the skills list. If it's there, the chances are good at 100 points, because New South Wales is looking at the points.
Yes, definitely.
They are looking at the points. Yeah.
And Neet, let's talk about students as well.
Sure.
So these days, Neet, there is a lot of refusals coming for the students, specifically for those who are going for student visa extension and something like that. What would be your advice for the students?
Okay, so if you are applying for the extension, the first thing you need to remember, if you have downgraded your studies in the past, right? Many people, they came on a bachelor degree, EQF level 7, came here, changed their diploma through somebody like those who never advised them that they are downgrading their studies. They had no future COEs for the same level. When now you are applying for student visa extension, very, very high chance of getting the refusal, because they are going to raise those points.
Yeah.
Even if now you were doing everything great, but then they will bring those points up, and the chances for refusals are pretty high.
Yes.
So in that case, I would say, like, always, guys, never breach your visa condition. Never do such things that can actually have consequences in the future. That's my first advice. Another thing is, even financials, if they are required, do provide financials for student visa extension. If PT IELTS is required for student visa extension, provide that.
Yeah.
Because PT will be expired after 2 years, and if you haven't studied anything related to like Cert 4 level, again, you are applying for student visa extension, have your PT ready. Yeah.
Yes, definitely, guys. Get your PT ready. And along with that, PT, I think it has become very, very essential, whether it comes to permanent residency,
Exactly.
student visa, everything,
Exactly. Everywhere.
everything. Yeah. And Neith, another question. Which is a good state for mechanical engineers on the current situation and in future? Any recommendation for Chintan?
Okay, mechanical engineer, again, I would say it is hard to say. If you are not working in your nominated occupation, then it's hard to predict any state for mechanical engineers. But if you are working in your nominated state, a nominated field, in that case, like, you can consider South Australia, you can consider even ACT. For mechanical engineer, even Queensland is not bad if you are earning very high income.
Yeah.
and you have superior English. Yeah, Queensland
Yeah,
is not bad.
definitely. Sonia, you have asked about 491 as a web developer. Can you please mention maybe something more, let's say about your points or about what state you're focusing, under which pathway you're lying? Can you just ask those questions as well? And okay, yeah. So Neet, Sonia, she is in ACT on 95 points as a web developer. Are there any chances of 491?
ACT is another state. They are just not looking at the points on your EOI. They are also looking at Canberra metrics. So
Yeah.
look at your Canberra metrics points. And also, guys, on ACT website, they always publish the data.
Yeah.
Like, what were the metrics point for the last invitation round? Always check that, compare with your points, and then see what are the chances.
Exactly. So, guys, please do ask more questions if you have regarding if your 485 is expiring, if your student visa is expiring anytime soon. We have got some time left with our live to get ended.
Just 8 minutes.
Yes. So, if you have more questions, please quickly, you can ask the questions and we can discuss those.
Sure.
And Neet, just like there's one question in my mind. I'll just come back again to the truck drivers because I don't know why this is a thing which really fascinates me. So
right now, like, you have seen so many grants.
Exactly.
I guess that's the reason.
That's one of the reasons. So, Neet, is there any specific qualification as well that they need to have for the skills assessment?
No. Even with your year 12 from India, you can get your skills assessment if you have 2 years of full-time work experience as a truck driver. Your work experience can be from overseas, can be from here in Australia. Earlier, the requirement for work experience was needs to be in last 5 years. Now it's no longer there.
Yep.
So your work experience from last 10 years also you can claim towards getting this sponsorship.
So, guys, if you have any of the questions related to that, you are more than welcome to ask. So, Ravneet is asking, is Queensland doing 482 for truck drivers?
Queensland, it's not about state, guys. 482 is all about what stream you are going for. So if you are looking at 482 Dharma, in Queensland, there are two Dharmas. One is in Cairns, another one is in Townsville. Also, guys, it's not about truck drivers. Dharmas, they have a very long list of occupation. You can't even, imagine what all occupations are there in Dharmas. Like, if you're working as a kitchen hand, that is there in Townsville Dharma. If you're working as a housekeeper supervisor, that's there in Townsville Dharma. If you're working as a cleaner, that's there in many Dharmas. You have any sort of experience, your employer is ready to sponsor you, whatever job you are doing. Machine operators, right?
Yeah.
You're doing all sort of jobs. You just need to talk to your employer, have some willingness from your employer, come and talk to us. We can actually navigate your permanent residency pathway through your employment, through your work experience, and the work experience can be in any occupation. So just don't talk to people, those who only deal with student visas, those who only deal with 485, and they don't have any idea about the occupation list. It's not only about medium to long term skill occupation list. It's not about short term skill occupation list. Dharma lists are like very, very intensive, and they have a very comprehensive list. They have very comprehensive list with a lot of occupation that you can never even imagine.
Yeah. Exactly, guys. So whatever, occupation you're right now working in, maybe you've got a permanent residency pathway in it, maybe through Dharma, maybe through employer sponsor. Always, ask an expert about it, because these days we are getting so many, people coming to us and they have asked from somebody who is not actually authorized to tell them that
Exactly.
thing. And then wrong information or little information is very dangerous.
It
It's
is
very
very
dangerous.
dangerous. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. So, Neet, we will get our life to an end, but before that, I would just, ask a closing statement for our clients,
Yeah.
those whose 485 they're ending very soon, or those who are waiting for invites. Yeah.
Sure. So if you are currently on a 485 visa expiring soon, you have to have a backup. You cannot just rely on invitation round. That is my strong advice to anybody who is on 485. Other than that, if you are on 408 visa, you still have a backup through student visa.
Yeah.
Okay. But for 485 people, those who are on 485, start looking for sponsors. Come and talk to us. If your employer is happy, showing some willingness to sponsor you, come and talk to us. We will talk to your employer. We'll navigate the pathway for you. And yes, that's it for today. And we'll see you soon, guys, in our next live session. That would be like we are doing every fortnight. So next live session would be not next Friday, it would be the following Friday. So yes, we'll see you guys the following Friday, again 4 to 5 p.m. Thank you. Till now, till then, stay safe.
Yep. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you. Thank you for joining us. For more questions, do contact us.